Hello, welcome to another episode of Real Talk. I'm your host, Kiera. Today on this episode of Real Talk, we'll be interviewing a wonderful woman, Miss Paula Barlow. She's going to share her book, Hope, a book filled with poems, dreams, and encouragement. For all of our viewers that are just now joining us and haven't never watched our show, Real Talk is a show that allows our guests to come on here and discuss their stories and just talk about life issues. Today we'd like to welcome our guest, again, Miss Paula Barlow.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for coming, Miss Paula.
Thank you.
So today we're going to talk about your wonderful book, Hope, and talk about your journey in your life and how you got to the point where you could actually write a book. So first, thank you for again coming on the show.
Thank you.
And just want to know, who is Paula Barlow? Where did you come from?
Wow. I am I feel like I'm a compassionate person. I love life. Everything about life I love.
Mm-hmm.
It's a journey.
Every
day is a journey. And it's a wonderful journey, however it turns out. I know, because I've had some bad journeys.
Haven't we all had some bad journeys, some roads that weren't paved so good?
Correct.
So you wrote a book called Hope, and this book is a book about poems, and when I read it, it's encouragement. You know, each page tells a story, and I could just feel you on each one of these pages every time I read it. My favorite one is A Letter to God, and we'll definitely get in that. About that letter to God, I might actually have you share that. For all of our viewers out there, Miss Paula Barlow, like I've stated, she's written this book called Hope, and I had an opportunity to attend her book signing, and it was just an amazing time to be there because she's such an amazing woman, and just see herself pour herself out and just kind of let everybody know her journey, where she comes from. And so now we have the exclusive here on Real Talk, and we're going to get into that. So, Miss Paula, are you originally from Denver?
No, I'm from Seattle, Washington.
Okay, Seattle, Washington.
Yes.
So how'd you get to Denver?
I came to Denver when I was 19 on a flip of a coin.
Mm.
Either moving to Chicago or to Denver. Mm-hmm. And here I am.
Who gave you the option to flip a coin to move somewhere?
I was with this guy at that time.
So Denver was just a toss of a coin. That's how you got here.
Exactly.
Now, what's your childhood? What was that kind of like? Before coming to Denver, what was that like?
I lived in foster homes.
Oh, okay.
All my life.
Mm-hmm.
But it really wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't any love there.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned how to survive.
Yeah.
How to not really depend on anybody.
Survival of the fittest.
Yes.
Now, do you know much about your biological parents?
No.
Nothing. Now, your foster parents, how many homes were you in when you were a child?
I lived in 2.
2 homes?
Yes.
Okay. And are you still in contact with your last foster parents, or?
No, they died. But there's
sorry.
a story about that. When I was in my first foster home, I didn't know that I was an orphan.
Wow. Wow.
Until I had to move to my second foster home when I was 8 years old. Then I realized that was different.
Right. So you never knew you were an orphan that entire time. You thought those were your parents.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did.
That's one way to find out that you're an orphan. So going through childhood and being an orphan and living in foster care, I'm assuming your second set of foster parents were good to you?
It was all right. They provided a roof over my head. I had food.
Mm-hmm. So you just learned how to really be grateful in
Yes.
your situation.
Yes, I did. At that time, I didn't want to cause any kind of uproar because at that time you would go to an orphanage.
Right.
So I did whatever it took not to go to an orphanage.
Wow. So at a very young age, you learned how to be strong and, like you said, not depend on people as much.
Yes.
That's amazing. So after reading your book, I learned that you also engaged in prostitution. Now, that's something that you dealt with, and You know, we all have those where it's not my best moment, but it was a part of your life. Talk to us a little bit about prostitution and how you fell into that form of a job that some people consider.
When I came to Denver, I didn't have a job, and my next door neighbor, she was into that, and we needed money. And so I said, I gave it a try. And so I ended up doing it for 6 years.
6 years, wow, okay.
And I didn't have any bad experiences. I had just wanted to make money, be comfortable, and then I wanted to get out of it.
Okay, so how did you get out of prostitution? Because, I mean, for 6 years, that's a pretty decent amount of time of your life to just do prostitution.
Well, I knew I wasn't going to be young and cute, so to speak.
Well, you mean I won't stay this cute forever?
So I looked for a job, and I applied with Frontier Airlines. I applied 8 times.
8 times. Did you finally
and
get
they
hired?
finally got hired.
Okay.
And I flew for almost 10 years, and I loved it.
So through all your trials and tribulations, you managed to land the position with Frontier.
Yes.
And then you became a flight attendant. What was that job like?
Oh, it was wonderful.
Really?
Every day was a party to me.
Mm-hmm. Flight attendant's party?
It was excitement, going to different places, seeing people, having different challenges.
Right. Challenges like what, though?
Delays, maybe. Something wrong with the child.
Yeah.
Somebody's luggage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a big problem right there. So just being a very personal person, not personal, but just being a flight attendant, catering is what I see. When I'm on there, I'm like, excuse me, I hate to bother you, but can I get another? So it was that, but you were living a party life.
Well, not really. Well, when I say a party life, I enjoyed it so much. It seemed like a party.
Oh, as if it was a party. Well, you also not only partied, or that dream didn't just seem like a party, but you also dabbled in drugs.
Ooh-wee.
How did you fall into drugs, Miss Paula?
Well, I was there for about a year, maybe a year and a half, and...
You were where?
At Frontier.
Okay.
I was flying for Frontier, and I was there for a year and a half. And I wanted to be cool.
Okay.
I wanted to fit in. People there were using drugs. I knew nothing about drugs.
Okay.
I was a square.
Yeah.
A real square.
Yeah.
And it took me about a year to get hooked, or at least I thought I was hooked after a year. So that's how I started. I just wanted to be cool. And then it got out of hand. That's what addiction does.
Spiraled from there.
Yes.
So a lot of the flight attendants were doing drugs. Who would have known? The cool ones.
Yeah. I guess you really would. You can't really tell by just looking at them. But I thought I was hiding it.
Yeah.
But I don't think I did.
So how long were you on drugs?
Altogether? Wow. 20 plus years.
So just starting from a year and a year and a half with Frontier, that's where it started.
Yes.
And then from there, it just robbed you of your life.
Yes, it robbed me. I didn't think of it that way, but yes, it robbed me.
You. That's what drugs, it plays that role, and it tends to rob people of their lives and who they are. Well, okay, so now knowing that, you have such an amazing book, and you've overcome a lot of obstacles, and still are. That letter to God, that poem, I love that one so much. I was wondering if you can actually share it with us so everybody can understand why I love that.
That letter is in my book. The letter, I went to this church, and the second time I was there, the pastor spoke about love letters to God. And I was so wowed about it that I told the person next to me, I got to write about this.
Right.
I said I got to write. It was halfway through the sermon.
Right.
So, that night, I couldn't really sleep. And so I kept waking up, going back, I said, I just got up and sat down at the computer, and I wrote the love letter to God. And it was my love letter. And I think we all need to write one love letter to God, just one in our life. When you write something down, who knows who's going to see it years from
Right.
now. Otherwise, if you just say it, it blows away in the wind. So when I wrote my love letter, I was writing it in mind of when I was struggling. I was thinking back to that.
Okay.
You know. So it's my favorite also.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember it by heart.
It's a hard. I mean, the book is filled with poems, so it's kind of hard to choose one. But for sure, the love letter to God is one of my favorite. If you please would share with us.
My dearest one, O Lord, this is a letter that is long overdue. I have been lying here for most of this blessed night thinking about all what you had given me just for me being here. I also have been thinking about the graciousness you so freely gave throughout my years of being distant and aloof. Today, along with other days, I feel a special bond of the love you unselfishly gave to me when I was so ungrateful of the love you blew my way. I have reflected over the years of how selfish I appeared when you alone had my back and when the whole world cared not a bit. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And when the whole world cared not a bit. You have always been with me in spite of my horrid thoughts, even though I knew I had drifted like years away. You have always walked and talked with me, covered me with your glorious whispers that someday I would hear that I was loved no matter of what, and as selfish as I was and still can be, just to know you're still carrying me. One of the things I love about you most is your patience of forgiving me when I turned my back on you. And even my unforgiving words, and not to mention my untold deeds that would make our mothers cry. This letter I'm writing you this early morning of this new day is my appreciation and love of the letters you so freely gave to teach me all about what love truly really is. Even if I read your letters daily, who is to say that I love just like you? But it is a start into practice on all who cross my path. When I reflect on your letters of the past, they tell me they are my owner's manual to living my life until eternity, with your comforting smile of assuring me that I will see you soon. Just to make it clear, your love letters I'm referring to is the ones of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and of course Peter and Paul, and not to forget the others that eat your bread of life and drink the wine of your most precious blood to thirst and hunger no more. I promise I will live to digest your words of deeds and to pass it on this glorious day you so graciously gave to me. Please know I love you so, my dearest one, O Lord.
Such an amazing poem.